まあいいや。
乾杯しようぜ。Cheers.
Cheers. Okay.
There, what we're talking about, I guess you're so drunk, so that's why we stopped shooting. Now we move to the izakaya and just John's
Yes. You have to remind me where I was.
Fuck off. Fuck
I mean, go on.
Remind you?
Yes.
Do you mean a conversation, you mean?
Yeah, where I left off.
You were saying actually there's a duality that's like You were saying fuck 記憶がフェードアウトしてる You were saying well basically if there's like a darkness then you realize a light if there's a female then you realize you're male like duality it's like if if the atheist saying that this world is like is there no we just like turn to dust after like when we life finish it's like you cannot explain that but you know if you want to like jump the topic to something it's okay just about your past or your experience or
I kind of want to stick to that topic of basically like how basically I want to normalize this whole spiritual thing basically. So best way
you say like every like person when they feel angry like the other people can feel it. It's like you cannot measure this, but you can just like understand that kind of sense is like
basically
you can say it's spiritual, right?
It's that in itself.
You know, like, can we swap the seat? Just actually, I want to like I want to put the coal inside this this thing.
So there's whatever.
Basically, whatever.
Yeah. So, what I wanted to basically say on this topic, basically on this time, although it's become kind of chaotic the one says, but what I wanted to say was basically like spirituality shouldn't be so
complicated or
complex or complicated basically. So it's more like, is that the quote I said about Rumi, so Rumi, where's my
ここにあるよ You using it Well you want to say one of a quote? Sorry John's a bit drunk so he doesn't know what he's doing I'm sorry
So what Rumi was basically saying, in a sense, that there is a word that doesn't use a word, basically, listen, basically, and that I think that quote very exemplifies the whole notion about spirituality. I think in general, because I think, in my opinion, I think Rumi was genius in the sense that he can convey that kind of like concept or knowledge in such a small sentence. Basically,
true. Yes.
Like he was obviously he was a master of the kind of like spiritual knowledge and understanding. He being able to even compose that kind of quote he must have had certain knowledge. You get it? It's evident from his kind of like quotes that has been left by him. So I wanted to say was like that simple quote of like so basically what Rumi is saying is like, you know, trust your intuition. You know, the feeling within ourselves that, you know, oh, basically you need to do that or not. I get it.
まだ火が起きてないでしょ。
ああ、ちょっとなんか少しなんか熱こもってるやつ入れとこうかな。いただきます。
どうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
今ちょっと火見ますね。まだまだ。
俺自分でやりますよ。そしたらじゃあ。
このね。
火なんかいい感じの見てなんかのしていくんで。
もうちょい燃やした方がいいな。その赤いの取ればもう大丈夫そうですよ。
あ、本当ですか。もう
ちょいちょっと数えてお願いしましょう。こういっておきますね。
ありがとうございます。センキュー。
あ、これじゃまだだ。
なんかさっき赤々火ついてたからもういけるかなと思ったんですけど、ちょっと早かった。
ちょっとね、弱かった。もう一つ入れて。
はい。
そうすると、とりあえずはいいかもしれない。もうちょいだな。弱かったらまた戻して。
ありがとう、えちゃん、マジでありがとう。センキュー。
よいしょ。
So guys, you know, I mean,
お願いします。
ありがとうございます。
調味料入れようとしたらこちらにありますから。
ありがとうございます。
ありがとうございます。So you know. So we're just having a meal at this time, and like, you know, we may not have this flow of like, you know, composition or whatnot. I mean,
they know because you okay.
Yeah,
carry
yeah,
on.
it's okay, it's okay. I mean, you know, I mean, we're just like I'm seeing like YouTube, you know, YouTubers basically explaining this kind of esoteric kind of like concept and whatnot, and it's like it's not like real life kind of like elements in it. You get it?
Such as like elements like.
Well, you know, daily life and like, you know, maybe to talk about things in general. Do you get it? I mean, we being here and like, you know, in a certain kind of shop. There's like basically like one of experience on like, you know.
What experience?
Experience in general, basically.
Uh-huh.
I want to say it's like our YouTube basically doesn't want to be, oh, that's just my opinion, not my partner's opinion, but like I want to be like very like gritty, like meaning like I want to be in a very down to earth. I don't want everything to be polished and like, you know, structured and like, you know, like edited and everything. Of course there will be some editing for sure, you get it, or whatnot, you get it, but you know, us, you know, people who are on YouTube at this time, do it. Although I wasn't considering myself or him to be a YouTuber at this time until certain subscribers to count, but whatever. But we are broadcasting ourselves to the world, basically.
Yeah, broadcasting, like.
Yeah, exactly.
Showing
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly. Showing ourselves, showing our faces, and
Show you when
yeah.
you're drunk.
Yeah. I'm not gonna, like, you know, edit myself like that at this moment, unless, you know, I just want to say, what was I saying?
You wanna like don't wanna like make edit, like you wanna show everything raw or something like this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't mind showing myself as it is.
Drunk.
I mean,
so dang.
I mean,
It's so-
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I think, you know, people, okay, I know one thing, right? People say about claiming words about, you know, different kind of like status and like, you know, orientation and whatnot. But I want to say, I want to claim the word for drunk people. Meaning like, we're conscious people though, to accept, you know, and we're not fully conscious, but like, you know, we can say, well, for me at this time, I'm 75% conscious. I don't know, but my partner here, maybe 80 to 85.
Maybe, I don't know, right now, a bit less, I don't know. Because
Yeah.
sometimes okay, like, if I talk myself, I'm a bit busy, so I kind of like, I don't know, just think about tomorrow.
Well, at
something
least
like
you're 90% conscious, right? Yeah, yeah, I can say that for sure. You get it?
But every moment I'm trying to like appreciate. Like now I'm working at Niigata, which is just a rice field, and just like, every view, it's really touched my heart actually. Just like it's
Yeah.
not just like green. It's just like I don't know. It just when I see this, it just makes me warm feeling. I don't know the reason, but it just like makes it.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, that's how it should be, basically. You know, I mean, there's nothing.
How about you? What is like a moment that's you feel like that way? Like I guess it's not just about
Peaceful or-
peaceful. Like does that mean like
or content, kind of. I don't know. I mean,
maybe it's like right now. Maybe you're feeling comfortable, so this is like a moment is. Could
I
be-
mean, I'm not uncomfortable being drunk. Do you get it? So, I mean, some spiritual practitioners or like, you know, people who have faith, it's like you should never like, you know, consume alcohol or like, you know, be drunk and whatnot. I mean, I don't particularly believe that, in my opinion. I mean, it's something, okay, maybe at some stage, maybe yes, maybe I shouldn't be like completely drunk and like, you know, and you know,
But in like
Sake.
ancient time in Japan,
Exactly.
like the sake is like made by this.
no gods. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
alcohol and spiritual. It's like something.
Exactly.
It's, it's
Yeah.
kind of like there is a connection, right?
Because
Yeah.
having to drink certain substances basically alternates to certain level of consciousness or understanding or like, you know, awareness. So that in itself is helpful in one degree. You get it. And I'm not gonna deny that, you get it, because everywhere you see, if you talk about folk festivals and like, you know, just like kind of like general festivals in general, they do consume alcohol to extent to like
Do the ritual.
perpetuate this kind of like ecstatic kind of like feeling and whatnot. You get it? So I'm not gonna deny this whole role within alcohol has played within like ritualistic kind of like notion within spirituality. It's kind of ridiculous, to be honest today. Or to be honest, like I mean, life was hard back in those days, and I mean, we say life is hard now. How hard must have been before, right? And people have drunk themselves in different times of life. I mean, like we're in October now, right? October, when we think of October, it's when autumn.
Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfest is like we think about Halloween or Samhain basically. Halloween.
I didn't think about Halloween. I know I shouldn't jump to this conversation. Halloween.
Halloween is basically.
Do you think that is like a? Well, what is like origin? Like, nowadays, just people's dressing up like a fucking.
Well, if you're talking about Halloween, Halloween is, or I mean, if you're talking about October 31st, is the thinnest time of the year. From this world to the other world, in which your ancestors or the other spirits can come into this world. Basically.
Like it sounds like Obon.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, it's a Celtic version of Obon. If you know
let me
Obon,
explain.
it's
Obon is in the Japanese, Japan's. It's kind of like not Halloween, but just like ancestor comes back for like a week, and they make the cucumber with like put the chopstick and make it like an animal, and they can ride home with this like cucumber animal. They basically put stick the like 4 legs.
Basically, I mean, it's basically a Celtic festival in which they invite like ancestral spirits on that day, and the Catholics on that day, made a very good strident effort into make sure that that doesn't seem like a pagan holiday, basically. So they call it All Hallows Eve. All Hallows basically meaning like
In Celtic?
Yeah. In Celtic Britain basically. So but I mean like in Ireland or like northern Scotland or so parts of England, they still had the belief in like Catholic saints and whatnot, did it but like this Halloween tradition is very Celtic in origin, did it? Like they call it Samhain basically. Samhain.
Halloween.
Samhain basically meaning like it's an eve in which the other world and this world becomes a thinnest. And so the ancestors and Celtic people's ancestors can come back into this world. Not just their ancestors, but the like the goblins, fairies, and like trolls or whatnot can come back as well, because there is the thinnest time of the year in which they can come back.
It's a fantasy world, like a physical world, like it come close. It's
Exactly.
Closest time.
Yeah, exactly. It's the thinnest time of the year in which the other world and this world reality becomes a thinnest. So the other world residents can come to come
I
into
remember
that.
in one of the Battle Circuses scene, like the world has becomes like really blended, start blending.
Yeah.
And the unicorn and like all the
Yeah.
elves and start
And
appearing again in the material
it's
world.
basically like that, basically. Exactly. So one thing is like, so for those people, in Celtic people, well, they say like, you know, or you can kind of subdivide Celtic people. We got like island Celtic people and like subcontinent, like, you know, Celtic people. If you're talking about Gaelic people, like, you know, in Spain and like, you know, northern France and all these people. And like, you know, but Halloween was predominantly island Celtic people celebration. So you have that Irish people, Northern Ireland, Scottish people who celebrated like those kind of Samhain, which is like an Obon of Japan, basically, in which they venerated that ancestors that may be able to come back into their world at that time, do they? And they honor that.
It's just only one day, because Obon is like 1 week. But how about Halloween? Just like 1 day.
Technically, it was like 1 day at that time when they can come back. What they did was basically, so they in Scotland or Northern Ireland, basically they baked certain like confectionery called soul cake, in which it's like a round circular like cake with a cross in it, in which they offer to their ancestral spirits.
Okay.
Yeah. And they offered it to their own grave sites of their ancestors and whatnot. And interestingly, even like in recent years, like in times, even I had this guy from Czechoslovakia,
Your friend or
a colleague, basically,
okay,
in London in 2015. I was working with. He told me like on this like, you know, Halloween Eve kind of thing. In the Slavic tradition, they will go to the grave site to actually offer certain, like, you know, food or like, you know, candle offerings to the grave sites on that day. But they didn't have this Celtic notion of like, you know, being like a liminal time and everything. But they have that
their own version of
association that like, you know, that ancestors were coming back on that day and whatnot.
So it's exactly the same day as like Halloween? Is that end of October?
But you can say like in that sense, like this October 31st of Halloween Day or Samhain Day is like
somehow it's
like
closest.
Exactly. It's celebration day for Indo-European people, basically for European, East Slavic, and some other Indo-European people to actually celebrate on the day to actually honor their ancestors.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, and into that kind of ancestral worship. You should honor, your heritage basically. Right? So I mean, like Halloween's been popularized throughout the world to a degree. In America, Canada, probably New Zealand, and even Asia and Japan at this time of period. Well, people play it out as as being it's just like costume play on
today's in Japan. Halloween
cosplay, as they say in Japan. But when I say the reason they actually dressed up as being some kind of
other character,
otherworldly character, or demonic and whatnot, because they believe that those kids, they went out to dress up as otherworldly character because they believe that on that day those other beings, fairies or demons or whatnot, will come on that day, and they will suspect that people who are not, on that side and whatnot, then they might kind of give them kind of certain intentions. So they basically dressed up to avoid that kind of interference from the other spirit kingdoms.
Okay.
So they pretended to be the other
one of
spirit.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So they dressed up as demonic, basically, and they go around and trick or treating and everything. Because this whole trick or treat, this podcast might as well call trick or treating. Well, this whole trick or treating tradition came out of this notion that basically in Celtic belief, well, not just in Celtic belief, but in general Brythonic belief that the ancestors, contrary to the popular belief, is that fairies are considered to be the ancestors of the spirit of the land. Meaning there are folk tales in which they tell that their ancestors were kind of verified to be one of the fairies.
Evil. Okay, they protect from evil fairies.
Yeah. So basically, what they say is fairies are our own past deceased kind of ancestors who come in the form of fairies, basically, or elemental spirits, and so what they say is basically, you see, it's kind of ancestral spirit in that way, and they do things in that way, but but this notion has existed even in Japanese mythology.
なんだろう、あだ名
In Japanese.
What is that? Okay. Like devil, I mean Oni?
What they say demon, right?
Yeah.
This is what I say is like Oni, right? In Japan, they have this kind of like sect of like Buddhist or Shinto belief called Shingedo, kind of sect. And one who started out was called Enogoda Uzuno, and he was basically a guy.
Looks like you're just about crying.
No, I'm not crying.
But, okay, carry on.
And the Gyoza was not basically well, basically he was born in a part of Nara.
Say again,
Mm.
the who? Who is it?
And no Gyoza.
Oh,
Ozuno.
Gyoza.
Ozuno. Basically, he was like if you put it like in bluntly, like in Western terminology, he was like basically like a Merlin of like Japan.
Like a wizard.
Yeah, he's like a wizard of Japan basically. So he was considered to be born in Nara area of like Japan, in Kyoto, and you know at this 11th year, like when he was about to be born, his mother had some dream that told him, he had a dream, she had a dream in which she had a dream in where there was like a descending like sacred artifacts of like Buddhist kind of like cosmology descending onto her, and she was like, what does that mean? It's like, and next day she realized she conceived a child basically.
That sounds like Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Little bit.
And she conceived this child, and she gave birth to this child, and she named it Enogoja Uzuno basically. And but when she gave birth to this child, she thought there's nothing holy about this child, something ambivalent and like evil, suspicious about this child. So she just like she just went to the forest and she just left this child into this forest, and she just went back and like she thought nothing about it. But a few days later she thought about this child and thought, I cannot let my own birth child left behind in the forest. And she went back into the forest to search for the child, and the child was perfectly healthy and not distraught at all.
How long she left there? Like just like
for 2 nights.
Okay.
But you for 2 nights. So,
well, long day for the baby.
For a newborn baby.
True.
Like, but according to her, it was completely like he was completely fine with it, and like it was jovial, and like and legends say like the forest spirits around him protected him, and whatnot. So she picked him up and raised him, whatnot.